Hello everyone, and welcome back to Howling Through Your Outdoors. Today, we're going to be taking this barely functional Tomahawk that I got in the mail. This is the Cold Steel Hudson Bay model. And we're hopefully going to be turning it into a beautiful, functional piece of art. So, stick around. So the first issue that we're dealing with is the head. It is not friction fitted at all, and then there was a screw that was keeping this in place. For those of you who don't know, Tomahawks don't need screws. They're supposed to be entirely friction fitted through the taper of the handle, matching the taper of the head. So we're going to carve and sand this down and hopefully get that to fit first. Alright, so you can see where I rounded off the head, make it smooth so it's not gouging out the wood. And you can also see I got a good healthy taper going through at the eye. Then I also took some carving tools and fix the head up just a little bit, and now I'm going to get to sanding that right down to a positive friction fit. Alright, so it's been about an hour of sanding with 80 grit sandpaper, and you can see no more wiggle. That type of friction fit is exactly what we're looking for. So now that we got this handle fitted, I'm going to mark where the head goes on it, and then we're going to get to work on cleaning up this blade. I want to take off this black coating that they have on it and just make sure that everything's going good with the metal. Alright, now that I got this sanded off, I'm not seeing anything too weird with the metal. There is a rogue line that kind of goes down there. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I imagine that's part of when they heated up the axe head and then hardened it, and then left the rest of this soft, normal thing to see with axes and hatchets. So I'm going to flip this. I'm going to start doing some decorative file work, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I put in some decorative filing on it. Not a whole lot, mostly because I'm not the best at file work, but also wanted it to be more functional and beautiful. Otherwise, I might be afraid to use it. So, as far as the head goes, I think this is done, other than a sharpening and a good acid bath to add a really nice patina to it. So, now we're going to get onto the handle. Alright, so for this to be regulation for throwing competitions, the handle cannot be longer than 19 inches. So, I marked where the 19 inch is from the top of the head. So I'm going to get it cut off of there, and that's going to be my first step. Alright, now that I got this cut down, we're going to bevel that with one of my carving tools. Then we're going to sand this with some extra fine sandpaper just to get those burrs out of it, making sure not to sand past that point, otherwise we will lose the friction fit that we worked so hard to get earlier. Alright, so now that I got this all nice and smooth, we're going to try and do a burnt-in effect with my Zippo. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm positive this is not the most effective method. I've seen people use like propane tanks and whatnot, but this is what I got to work with right now, so we're going to try it. Alright, my trusty Zippo failed me, so now I'm using a candle. Alright, so the candle didn't work, so then I went and got some propane. We'll see if this works. Alright, ladies and gents, I think that is going to call it on the handle. Didn't get as deep of a burn as I was hoping, but it still looks really freaking cool. Alright, time for sharpening and the acid bath. Alright, y'all, that's about as good as I'm going to get without my actual sharpening kit. I have to save that for after the acid bath. Alright, y'all, I am absolutely horrible at this whole YouTube thing, but my camera died, so while my phone was on the charger, I just kind of kept working. But, so I went back, adjusted some of the burn-ins, made it a little bit more cleaned up. Don't know if y'all can see that, it's starting to get dark out, so I'm working off artificial light right now. Then I also added some additional file work and am putting it through the acid bath. This is just apple cider vinegar, letting it soak in there for 2 hours. Hopefully that'll give it a nice forced patina finish. Alright, y'all, this is the head after the acid bath. This is about 2 hours in. Doesn't really look a whole lot different, but then I rinsed it off with water, oiled the snot out of it. All that's left is to fit it. Alright, folks, it is officially DUN done. There's no waddle. There's nothing. Just friction fit it up. I think the next step, even though it is not functionally amazing as it is, I think I'm going to put a wrapple on this handle just to make it more comfortable for me to use. But I think I also want a mechanical connection here. But I also don't want to drill another hole in there. So I have some artificial sinew that I think I'm going to wrap that up and see how that goes. All right, folks. I think that calls it. All right, y'all. This is just a side-by-side comparison between what we started with. You can hear that waddling. And then finished. I'm excited. This took me about 6 hours. I'm even going to try to talk about the cost of materials. So, yeah. So we got artificial sinew, burn, propane, tiger stripe. I'm tired, y'all. I'm going to bed. Can't wait to field this thing.